Hey. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how when someone is spiritual, it doesn't mean they're open-minded. It doesn't actually mean that anything about them, really, until you get to know the things about them and observe the things about them. If you're ready to, ditch the energy drains in your life, have more energy for work, school, your dreams, or even just have a good relationship, first thing you got to do is learn how to observe people. Label people. Yeah. And not in a bad way. So I hope I don't lose you there. Stay. But in states of observation, we want to get to a level of objective observation. Objective meaning fact. We are observing the truth here. We're not twisting the truth at all for our own gain or for our own survival. And so, an example of this, when someone does something thoughtful, instead of just going through life on autopilot, you recognize them in your head. That was thoughtful. But you don't just hold on to that observation. You keep observing them. That was thoughtful. That felt controlling. That felt validating. That felt controlling. That seemed passive-aggressive, but I can't really tell. Something's off here. And through those observations, you begin to recognize patterns. And the funny thing about narcissists and manipulators is that they're kind of not that unique in their tactics. There's a beautiful human inside of a manipulator that was broken down. Their spirit was broken for sure. And we can empathize with that from afar. Yeah, for sure. But, when they're manipulating and harming people, my point is, the patterns are easy to recognize. And if you're on this channel, I know you're fucking sick of it. Being a victim. I know you're sick of it. So, you're going to start recognizing these patterns. Yeah, fam. Yeah. But so when we're looking at spiritual narcissists are dangerous, dude. They're dangerous. Seriously, they are. Whether we're talking churches, whether we're talking new age, whatever it is, spiritual narcissists are fucking dangerous, and they're harmful as hell. And it's a sad kind of thing to go through, because I would say that as many people as there is in the world, it can be challenging to find our people. It can take some time to find our people. So when we finally find someone that really aligns with our spiritual identity, we really want that person to be for us. We really want them to be our friend. We're like, damn, yes. This is, I haven't found people like you before. And so when we meet, spiritual people that are narcissists, they're taking advantage of that vulnerability of yours, right? The vulnerability being that you really want connection, because of course you do. It's what you deserve, connection. And as survivors, we are systemically isolated from connection, real connection. That makes us vulnerable to spiritual narcissists when we have that little insecurity. So when we're dealing with spiritual people, we can treat it as an observation. They are spiritual. They go to church without other associations. Objectively, we can observe these are the behavior, they have crystals. But why are we spiritual? Let's reflect on that. Why are you spiritual? Whatever your religion is, everyone's welcome here. Why are we spiritual? Well, my spirituality, I'll go first. You can share in the comments if you'd like. I would love to talk to you. I am spiritual because I love to be of service to others. I see a vision for this world where we can heal, where change comes through the healing of people's mental health, through the support of humans' needs, emotional needs, and well-being. Spirituality for me is my connection to something greater that keeps me going in life, that guides me, the connection to my heart that allows me to empathize with others no matter how much I've gone through. That's what spirituality is to me. Now, I love the crystals. I love feeling the energy of the crystals. I love expressing myself in a spiritual way, like wearing a mala beads or hippie clothes. I love that. I love it. But that's not why I'm spiritual. And so we don't want to base our observations of like whether someone's safe based on their objects, right? Like has crystals doesn't equal safe. Goes to spiritual groups doesn't equal safe, you know? We could say they might be exciting. They might be fun to hang out with in a way. But yeah. And here's where the gaslighting comes in when it comes to spiritual narcissists, because you and I know that your title, your religion, your hobbies don't reflect your character. We know that. Yeah, for sure. But a lot of narcissists don't believe that. They use their titles, their hobbies, their clothing to manufacture a persona that allows them to feel like a good person. So let me take you into the narcissist's mind for a second. To the narcissist, if they work with animals, there is no possible way that they abuse their animals. That's just an example. Not every narcissist is like that, but that's how they think. Now, you know what? I'm not going to argue with myself. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Now, where was I going with that? This has to do with spiritual people. When you get involved with narcissists and they start manipulating you, they will have all these justifications in their head as to why they're a good person and that they haven't done any wrong to you. That allows them to gaslight you. And in essence, they are gaslighting themselves, right? If I told myself that, you know, my beauty means I'm a good person, if I told myself that, that's fucking gaslighting. That's delusion. If I wasn't a good person, I mean, I think I'm a good person, but you know, my appearance doesn't equal my character, but to narcissists, appearance and character is like fused into one. Everything's about appearances. Their whole survival skills is about appearances. What activities, what people, what hobbies can they take on to fit in to a group that isn't actually them? And the funny thing is, maybe it is actually aligned with them. Maybe they do actually have spiritual beliefs and principles, and maybe they are aligned with it, but they have, you know, actions, behaviors, karma that they're working through that doesn't allow them to act in alignment with those values. And it's not easy in this life, having integrity. It's not easy. So I have empathy and understanding for people. And I hope that you will too when you learn about these things. If you're new here, I'd love for you to join and subscribe. If you're not new here, memberships and super chats just launched. And so you can support me now. And all thanks to you guys for subscribing and joining me on this journey. Anyways, we'll get back into it. Spirituality is a cover story for narcissists. Spiritual people, there's like these stories. If you're familiar with Buddhism, in the wheel of samsara, a part of that cycle of karma is the stories. The story is, I'm spiritual, so I'm not a bad person. I'm spiritual, so I'm a good person. And they'll be telling you their own stories, right? I had a guy once tell me that I was perceiving him wrong, and if I could see in the higher realms, that I would think differently. And that's gaslighting. That's gaslighting, you know? He's using spiritual words to make me think that there's something wrong with my perception and how I was seeing him. And so he's, like, objectively, he was distorting his own perception. He's gaslighting himself. I'm seeing into the higher realms. And I don't know if, like, he actually was convinced of his illusion or not. But that's an example, and I hope that if you've experienced that it can be validating for you. to hear. So, yeah. When people use spirituality and religion to create a persona and appearances, they're usually not very open-minded. They're usually not very, well, I mean, I can't really say that for sure. You don't know who they are, usually, is what I'm going to say. It's hard to know who they are. And it's deception, right? It's deception. It can be so hard to spot the true selves of manipulators, but your truth, you being true to you set boundaries, will unmask them really fast. I used to spend years with manipulators, or I'll say I have spent years with manipulators, and now they expose themselves pretty quick because I'm just being me, and I'm not hypervigilant, and I'm not like worried about fixing their problems or their feelings. I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna be me, I'm gonna be cool. If you're not gonna be cool, well, it's gonna fucking hurt, and then I'm probably gonna dip, and that's healthy. You are a human with feelings, and impact matters. You are a human with feelings, and impact matters. Don't even get me started on the professional narcissists in psychology spaces. Don't even get me started on them. I know none of you got me started on that, but I got myself started on that. But don't even get me started on it. Next video. I love ya. Actually, I feel like my heart's telling me to keep talking. Hold on. One of the number one indicators that you are dealing with a spiritual narcissist is if they believe that they're on this superior light level. True light rather than false light. True light wants to bring everyone into the light. It seeks to serve and guide with boundaries and limits, of course. True light seeks to serve and guide. It doesn't put people below them. So if people tell you things like, you're not light enough, you're not in enough integrity from that space of superiority, it's not cool. Healthy people, I would say, especially on this channel, when I notice someone doesn't have integrity, I do not tell them it. It's an observation, like we talked about in the beginning. This person is lacking integrity. And for me, I value integrity. So for me, that's just nah, not for me. And, in my brain, it's pretty obvious. If we all have integrity, harmony is created, and then we all can be happy. To me, that's obvious. Others might have different ways of being, and it's not my job to control them. It's only my job to do what I want to do, which is serve you here on YouTube. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I've been doing. Oh my gosh, I'm on a fucking roll today. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment. Let me know if you've dealt with this shit. And yeah, so you are a human with feelings, and your needs matter. One thing that I found helpful when I was dealing with a spiritual narcissist was crown chakra assistance, so third eye. I would say that spiritual narcissists can sometimes be final bosses to activating your discernment, your spiritual gifts. Yeah, spiritual narcissists are the final bosses to activating your spiritual gifts, because people who are aligned with false light energies are extremely manipulative. I think that false light energies are the most kind of distressing form of manipulation that one can experience, and I've experienced it quite a few times. And please don't be criticizing me and my experiences. I've experienced these things because my soul wants to teach you about them, not because I'm a fucking victim and I'm secretly a narcissist, okay? But sorry, I got a little heated there. Anyways, oh my god. Okay. But actually, on a real note, we need to stop that. This is an example of a false observation. This perfectly fits in. Going through a lot of trauma doesn't objectively mean that someone is a narcissist. The truth is, we've all been through a lot of trauma, and honestly, in my experience, I found that the people who deny that they've ever been through trauma are usually the most untrustworthy people. And not all the time, but in my experience, it can be definitely a red flag to be taken into consideration. When people, especially if you notice other traits, like you notice insecurity and things that survivors of abuse have, in a non-shameful way, but then someone is claiming that they've never been abused, and it's a sign of denial. And people who are in denial are under illusions, and people who are under illusions know not what they do, which is scary. It makes people chaotic and dangerous. And I've been under illusions, so I get it. It's the point of this earth, right? We're moving through the veils into the higher realms as a collective, and it's fucking beautiful. It's fucking beautiful. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, spiritual narcissists. Final boss. Good luck. You're doing amazing. You're crushing it. You're killing it. I know it. I know you are. And when you get on the other side of all the fucking confusion, yeah, you're gonna be fucking powerful in a beautiful way, in a fair way. And yeah, don't give in. Don't give up. So many people are here for you in this world. If you ever need mental health support, please call 988 in the US. Personally, I can tell you they're not scary and they're not mean. But always, observe, practice observing. And phone calls are a really good way to do that, right? Because there's not a lot of risk. So, yeah, I love you.